West Boylston is coached by Mike Ross, and Fitchburg is coached by Paul DiGeronimo.
Here we are live from historic Crocker Field in Fitchburg as FATV presents coverage of Fitchburg High School Red Raider football. And tonight it's going to be an intriguing matchup of football here at Crocker Field as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High School take on the Lions of West Boylston. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Bolak. Happy to have you along with us here tonight. John Grugerty is on assignment. We'll see him again when the Raiders next come back after their long road trip. They'll be on the road for the next 4 weeks after tonight. But Fitchburg coming in 0-1, didn't have the best of season starts last week, losing 42-7 to North Middlesex. Patriots came out strong, and it took a while for the Red Raiders to answer. You see the coin toss here. Different set of captains this week. They switched out a couple ones. Devani DeLeon and Melvin DeLeon are there, but Shea Gagne and Kyle Anang are out there as captains as well. We get the verdict here. Looks like West Boylston will get the ball first to start this contest as the captains shake hands at the center of the field. West Boylston, the defending Division 7 state champions, with a decisive 51-13 victory in Week 1 of the 2023 season. Just a dominating performance for the Lions from start to finish in that one. Rolling off their run of 11-2 last year. State champions in Division 7 beat St. Bernard's of Fitchburg, of course, at Gillette back in December. This year, looking to try to be the best of the 50 teams in Division 8. We'll pause for the national anthem. We'll have kickoff next here on FATV. The anthem complete. We'll be getting ready to start this football game again between the Fitchburg High School Red Raiders and the West Boylston Lions. Daniel Bolak here with you from the booth high above Crocker Field. West Boylston is a team that is going to run it down their opposition's throats. That has been their style for a long time, running the double wing with head coach Mike Ross, 9th season as the head coach of West Boylston. 71 wins from 87 games. That's just 16 losses if you do the math. And Ross, a state champion with 3 different schools. He's won a title with Worcester North. He's won a title with Grafton. And he's now won a title with West Boylston just last season.
Kicking off for the Red Raiders will be Shea Gagne. And back deep for West Boylston, John Lewis, number 4, and Connor Muldoon, number 20.
Raiders set to kick off. Shea Gagne set to kick it away for the Raiders. It's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders can deal with West Boylston's very aggressive run offense. So that bounces on the ground, picked up by Muldoon. at the 18-yard line, making his way up to the far side, and Muldoon already with space to run past midfield, now down to the 40, at the 35, shakes off so many tackles, and he's going to make his way into the end zone. Touchdown, West Boylston.
It was Connor Muldoon taking it all the way back.
An 82-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for Connor Muldoon. And just like that, West Boylston strikes first. They had a couple of those kick returns last week against Northbridge. And as you can see, they're a very dangerous team to kick to. Didn't take very long, just 18 seconds off the clock, and already 6-0 to West Boylston. And the Lions going to set up and go for two. See 3 in the backfield. Go to Jamie McNamara, who will blast through the line for 2 to match his number. West Boylston leads 8-0. McNamara is generally the extra point kicker for West Boylston, as he's been last year. But he can run it in for 2 as well. And let's watch Muldoon run it back here on the far side. You can see a few different Raiders are able to get his hands on 5, 6. I counted 6 Raiders who touched him. And he was able to break all of those tackles. Connor Muldoon had 11 touchdowns last season, 8 on the ground and 3 receiving touchdowns as well. And now he's got a kick return touchdown to call his own. Jamie McNamara, who got the 2-point conversion, will also kick off for West Boylston.
Jamie McNamara kicking off for West
He's got a very solid leg, once won a game on a field goal of 35-plus yards. They'll send that spiraling into the night sky, picked up at the 15-yard line. On the far side, Malachi Marion is able to take it back to the 29 before he runs into a brick wall.
Marion on the return.
Kane Frimpong gets the tackle for the Lions. 29-yard line is where the Raiders will start their first drive. Now we'll see what the Raiders have in store. Looks like Luke Bolak is going to be the lead running back in this contest as Zacchaeus Collins takes the snap on first down, pitches it out to Bolak, goes to the left side, trying to find a little bit of space out there. Gets a couple of yards before he's wrapped up by a herd of Lions.
There was Bolak going on the left side there. Several West Boylston players in on the tackle. Pickup of about 2 on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Have a look at the replays. It goes to the left side. Looks like Connor Muldoon actually got in on that tackle. You can see Luke Foley, the starting quarterback for West Boylston, a prolific defensive player as well. He's not afraid to get in on those tackles. A lot of these Lions are dangerous on both sides of the ball. Fullback dive on 2nd down. Devani DeLeon sees contact almost immediately, trying to make the second effort. He gets about a yard to the 32-yard line.
On the carry, caught by Jackson Kamenaika.
Jackson Carmonica getting the tackle for West Boylston. He's another one of those dangerous returning players. Had over 200 yards of receiving last year, but more notably, about 42.5 tackles. 3rd down. And about 7 to go. Collins going to try to make the pass, and it's going to be complete. Richard Salomon close to the marker. I don't know if it's quite good enough. Going to come down to the spot.
For the tackle. Close to a first down, just shy. It's going to bring
first completed pass of the season for the Red Raiders. They were 0 for 3 through the air last week. See Salomon touches it pretty close to the 39. Looks like they spotted all the way back over the 37.5. Given the 38 on that, it's going to be not enough for a first down. 4th down and 1. So the Raiders will punt. It'll be Alan Hall who put this high into the sky, but not nearly as far. They'll take a neutral bounce and bounce about 1 yard towards the West Boylston end zone, at least down in West Boylston territory. Give it the 48-yard line. That's where West Boylston will start their first drive with 9:34 to go in the first quarter. The Lions with an 8-0 lead. While we have a moment, let's take a moment to thank our FATV underwriters. I think we'll get that on the next play.
Now take it over at the 48, 1st and 10.
9:34 to go in the first, and you can see this double wing. They're going to go to Carmonica, who's able to blast through the middle, and he is off to the races. Jackson Carmonica has a touchdown.
That's Carmonica, straight up the middle there for 6. It's going to be 14-0 for West Boylston.
How quickly West Boylston can strike. Just going up the middle, and their offensive line able to create the hole to run right through. They've got so many weapons at their disposal. He had one touchdown run last year. That was 60 yards. This one was 52. West Boylston will go for 2 again. And Connor Muldoon, staying on his feet, goes right through. 2 more for West Boylston. They lead 16-0 with 9:24 to go in the first quarter. Now let's take a moment to thank our FATV underwriters.
Fitchburg Access Television's remote productions for the 2023 sports season are brought to you in part by Rollstone Bank and Trust, Acme Carpet One, Leominster Credit Union, the Sentinel Enterprise, and Minuteman Press.
Our thanks to all of our FATV underwriters that make all of our remote productions possible. Thus far, we've seen West Boylston take 3 snaps, essentially. And Fitchburg has not been able to stop them on any of them. They kick to the near side, 13-yard line, Malachi Marion. Up between the numbers and hashes, gets his way to the 29-yard line. Frimpong will have the tackle there. And assisting there will be Dominic Renzoni as well. So 9:17 to go, first quarter, 16-0 West Boylston in front. Fitchburg is a Division 4 team, West Boylston a Division 8 team. And you might think with the disparity, just looking at those numbers, that maybe Fitchburg would have the advantage. But West Boylston has a tremendous amount of experience among their personnel. They're already showing that in full force on first down. Bolak trying to run right up the middle, but he runs right in the arms of Brian Smith, leading tackler returning last year for West Boylston. 76.5 tackles in all. And he gets stopped right at the 30-yard line. That was the original line of scrimmage. So no gain there for Bolak on first down. Second and 10 coming. Out of the formation, Zacchaeus Collins with another handoff to Bolak, who broke through the backfield there. Jake O'Brien, who has 8 sacks from last year, 32 tackles. Bolak's not a quarterback in this case, so he's not going to get credit for a sack, but it's a TFL nonetheless. -1 yard for number 1 in red and gray. .805 to go, first quarter, 16-0 West Boylston in front. Fitchburg went 3 and out on their first drive, trying to prevent doing that again. Get out of the I formation, Collins will throw, finds Salomon, and he's going to be off now. 50, 40, 30, it's a foot race, 1 man to beat. It's going to be taken out of bounds just past the 15-yard line by John Ruiz. But that's just the play the Red Raiders needed. Sort of the same play as the third down pass last time. Zacchaeus Collins getting the pass off to Richard Salomon, and he was able to take off there. John Ruiz, who's a solid running back in his own right, was able to chase him down. And they'll mark it down at the 14-yard line. 57-yard catch and run as Bolak going to the right side. You can see O'Brien coming in, tripping him up. And Brian Smith getting in on that as well to limit the damage to a couple. A gain of 2 for Bolak. Luke Bolak has found himself with a lot of experience at the quarterback position, having been the starting quarterback since his sophomore year, but they've moved him to tailback because they know he's the most explosive of their runners. And timeout called by the Red Raiders with 6:51 to go in the first quarter of play. West Boylston leads 16-0. So going over the schedules, you look over what West Boylston did last year. They started with a 37-0 win over Northbridge, beat Assabet 43-18. Then Blackstone Valley Tech 6-0 in what was a rain-soaked mud fight. Beat Clinton 42-7. A Clinton team that was the number 7 seed in Division 7. Beat Tingsboro 28-15, Oxford 51-15. Their only loss of consequence last year in overtime to Lunenburg 25-22. Then shut out Littleton 41-0 to finish their regular season. Beat Tech Boston 49-0 in the playoffs in a game in which Tech Boston did not get a first down. Then 36-6 over Wacona, 33-20 over Amesbury. They rested their starters against Maynard, ended up losing that game 48-13 as the consequence of that, and then beat St. Bernard's 29-8 in the Division 7 championship game. A lot of winning experience for these Lions. See Bolak taking the pitch and rolling to the left side, trying to get to the flank, spun out of one tackle. But the reinforcements arrived for the blue and black.
Bolak taking left side on that one.
Only Bolak to no gain. The box man doesn't even move.
Lions. Once again led by Jacob Ryan, 62.
You can see a couple of those big defensive stalwarts for the Lions. We mentioned Jake O'Brien, we mentioned Brian Smith. Those two with over 100 tackles between them in 13 games last year. West Boylston returned 20 starters between offense and defense last year. Collins will throw on third down, and he finds a man for a touchdown, Christopher Rivera.
That was Chris Rivera from
The tight end, 6'2", 180, that sophomore, gets the catch over the middle, and the Raiders are on the board.
That makes the score 16-6 with 6:02 to play.
Those passes are looking good. Zacchaeus Collins getting that pass off.
Zacchaeus on that pass for the Red Raiders.
Now Allen Hall on to attempt the extra point. Snap is down, kick is blocked. The whistles will blow once West Boylston takes possession. No defensive deuces allowed in Federation rules.
Score 16-6 now with 6:02 to play.
Nonetheless, though, the Raiders find some success on their second drive of the contest to this freshman quarterback, Zacchaeus Collins, with a touchdown pass. And Christopher Rivera, the sophomore tight end, the youth, coming up with the connection to make it 16-6. Nice to hear, Mr. Touchdown. I'll say the passing's looking pretty good right now. Shea Gagne to kick off. It's going to be an onside kick. And just standing there waiting at the 50-yard line was one of the Lions in Jack Smith, the junior. Raiders had to wait for the ball to go 10 yards. It did go 10 yards, but Smith was waiting for it right at the 50. Wouldn't take any chances, just jumped right on that football, as you should. So now here's the question. Can Fitchburg stop this play? Not seen a lot of success thus far. It's going to go to Muldoon, who's going to go all the way out to the right side. And I think we're getting an answer pretty quickly on this one. Connor Muldoon will have the touchdown.
Muldoon, 50 yards out.
4 times West Boylston has snapped the football, and all 4 times the play has ended in the end zone. Muldoon just gets out to the far side, and he's playing sure. He's just faster than everybody. Another tremendous touchdown run for West Boylston.
Once again, looking for 2 here.
Just like hitting the easy button. Now it's going to be a pass thrown out left side. It's going to be incomplete.
Ball is incomplete.
First time they try to go to the air.
The score stays 22-6.
Foley tried to throw it to John Ruiz, and the diving effort unsuccessful. But as it goes, West Boylston will take the 6. Cara Muldoon finds the end zone for the 2nd time today. 22-6 with 5:52 to go in the first. We're saying West Boylston is a team that can run it down your throat, and as you can see, that double wing and all that experience, all that firepower on the line is creating the lanes and creating the paths they need to find their success.
McNamara kicking off.
Jamie McNamara to kick it away. Malachi Marion takes it in at the 13-yard line, running up the numbers. Tries to cut on the line at the 25, gets a couple extra yards before he's met by the Lions.
Marion on the return.
Brian Smith again in on that, along with Jackson Carmonica.
That was Smith. First to hit him.
So we'll see, will they spot the ball? Give them to the 28-yard line.
Ball is now on the 28. It's first
5:47 to go in the first
Red
quarter.
Raiders.
West Boylston with 22 on the board already. Now Fitchburg was looking pretty good throwing the ball. So far they've only thrown the ball on 3rd down, but the passes have looked pretty sharp out of Zacchaeus Collins. First down, fullback dive, Devani DeLeon staying on his feet, muscling, trying to get some extra yardage, gets to about the 30-yard line.
DeLeon on the carry that time. Turned down by number 80 and Aiden Hamilton. Picks up about 2 at 2nd and 8 now. Ball at the 31-yard line. Oh, it's called the 30.
The 30-yard line, a 2-yard gain for DeLeon. Right now, the Raiders 7 carries for 6 yards, a long of 2. West Boylston 2 carries for 102 yards. Very strong efficiency. They got all the yards they possibly could. Bolak trying to get out of some tackles, but as you can see, about a third of the West Boylston team will take him to the floor.
Met in the backfield by Egan.
So the first to arrive was David Egan III.
Along with McNamara. And
he's a junior.
Loss of 1 yard, brings up 3rd and 9.
Marches it back to the 29-yard line. You can just see one of the main keys between these two teams is just the fact that West Boylston's line, whether it be offensive or defensive, is just overpowering Fitchburg's. 3rd down, about 9 to go from their own 29. It's going to be a pass. Collins rolling out left side, just trying to find some space and then run for it once he realized he wasn't going to be able to get a pass off.
There's Collins on the left side. Smith making the tackle. It's going to bring up 4th and 9.
Bring it back to the 29-yard line.
Alan Hall doing the kicking chores.
So nothing much gained there. 3 and out for the Raiders. Junior Alan Hall
back to receive the kick.
Will return to punt this one away. Good snap. Line drive kick this time. It'll be returned from the 45-yard line by Carmonica. They'll come to the near sideline. Just a matter if they can get him out of bounds, and that's what they'll do. Can't make it to the end zone if he shepherded out of bounds first.
Carmonica on the return, driven out of bounds by number 4, Shea Gagne.
Shea Gagne will get the tackle there for the Raiders, or at least the force out of bounds. Into the near side, walks the tightrope until he runs out of space.
Ball spotted at the 27.
To the 27-yard line that goes.
And it's 1st and 10. It's Boylston.
.331 to go in the first quarter. And Foley wants to throw downfield. Muldoon is wide open. Whether it be by ground or by air, West Boylston's got all the answers. It's another touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Maybe their first pass completion of the season.
Makes it 28-6.
And Luke Foley's got the ability to find a man, and Connor Muldoon's right where he is and nobody else.
Going
for two out of the double wing. So many options. Going to go to Jamie McNamara. He'll walk in for 2. 30-6. West Boylston in front with 3:24 to go in the first quarter. Boy, the way West Boylston's playing right now, it's like they're on easy mode. At what point do we get to move the difficulty sliders up a little bit? It's been an impressive display of power in this first 12 minutes of action. West Boylston's yet to run an offensive play.
Back again.
That didn't end with them in the end zone. And the only time they've had any failure was that 2-point conversion. And this one's going to go over the head of Marion, and they'll let it go into the end zone for a touchback. It just gets there. McNamara going for the line drive that time. And if that rolled maybe 2 yards less, Marion would have had to pick that up and have to do something with it. That would not have been ideal. Right now the Raiders 12 plays, 80 yards on offense. West Boylston 3 plays, 175 yards. They also had the kickoff return for a touchdown, and they're 3 for 4 on their deuces. Case Collins on first down with the pitch out to Bolak on the near side. From the 20-yard line, he'll get a few. Looks like 3 yards.
Bolak off the right side, brought down by 62, Jake O'Brien.
But with how strong the West Boylston line has been in the defense corps, that's the longest run of the night for the Red Raiders. And look at all the work Bolak's got to do to get those yards. From the 23-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 7 with 2:45 to go in the first quarter. West Boylston up by 24. They'll go to Devani DeLeon on the left side. Finds a good amount of success to the 30-yard line.
DeLeon on the carry there, brought down by
With the touchback, the line to gain is painted on the ground. So if you place it on the 30, like the umpire has,
almost over the 30-yard line,
then it should be good enough for a first down, and it is.
The first and 10, Red Raiders from the 30-yard line.
That time DeLeon just breaking out to the left side that time. Able to get into the second level, get 7 yards. Try to go back to DeLeon. Staying on his feet, nearly taken to the ground. Then the rugby maul starts.
DeLeon on the carry met by a number of tacklers from West Boylston. No gain on the play.
Looks like forward progress will get him back to about the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of a yard. Let's see where they place it. I'm going to say no gain, no loss on that one. To the 30-yard line it does go. If I've been recording the time of possession correctly, West Boylston has had the ball for 45 seconds. And they have 30 points. That is the most efficient offense in the history of man that they're running right now. 2nd and 10. Zacchaeus Collins rolling out to the right side, gets the pass off. It is complete. Give that one to Devani DeLeon. And give him to the 40-yard line. Stop the clock and move the chains for a fresh set of downs. Just get that throw off between two defenders, but neither of them tightly marking DeLeon. And takes it right to the 40. Keeps that efficiency of making those lines on the field be the lines to gain. 1st and 10. Bolak to the right side. Got a little bit of space, gets about 5, maybe an extra yard as he's going to the floor. And stretching it out. Looks like 5 is what they'll give. Put the nose of the ball on the 45-yard line. So we're in the final minute of the first quarter of play. Maybe one more play for the Raiders to run in the opening stanza. If they choose to take it, or maybe they'd like to have a go at the end zone where so much success has been found by West Boylston. I think they'd rather have a shot at that end zone. Back judge walked in, made it clear that they didn't have to run a play if they didn't want to, and they're not going to. So we've reached 1 quarter time here at historic Crocker Field.
That's it for the first quarter, where West Boylston leads 30-6.
And West Boylston with a very decisive performance in the opening stanza. 30 points in 12 minutes. They lead by 24 points.
Patrons, as your local Fitchburg insurance agency, Weston Insurance is very proud to support.
Some of you may be interested to know, what is the past history between these two schools on the gridiron?
Insurance is here for all your insurance needs.
The answer to that is there isn't any. This is the first time these two teams have ever met. It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Fitchburg has about 1,200 kids, 1,241 students, according to their 2021 enrollment, which was used for the alignments in 2023. Meanwhile, West Boylston, which co-ops with Tohoto in Boylston, also serving Berlin, they have combined between them 553 students. If you use the competitive equity modifier, you get 920 students for Fitchburg, 529 combined between West Boylston and Tohoto, but they only use the number that's in Tohonto's because they're the bigger school. 270 something after the modifiers applied. And so these two teams have always been a number of divisions apart. These two teams were actually scheduled to play each other in 2018 in a consolation game. Concerns arose, and that game was changed. Fitchburg played Maynard instead in that consolation game. Won that game at Elliott Field, interestingly enough. On the first play of the second quarter, Bolak to the right side, runs into the line, and then he's flushed back by half the team.
That was Bolak.
Takes a lot of players to stop Luke Bolak. But West Boylston sharp enough they can get 5 or 6 guys on him.
Brings up 3rd and 5.
Put it back on the line of scrimmage, back at the 45-yard line. No gain for Bolak on 2nd and 5. Raiders have 14 carries for 20 yards in the contest. We knew that was going to be one of the things coming in, is just all the experience West Boylston has brought back. Meanwhile, Fitchburg only bringing back 6 starters. Collins gets a pass off, and that's going to be finding a whole bunch of green grass at the West Boylston 45-yard line.
Incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Could have been a bit of a challenge with the pressure coming in, maybe a bit of assignment issues. The freshman quarterback, Zacchaeus Collins, comes back to the sideline. There'll be another punt for the Red Raiders. Hall back in to take it. Gets a solid one off. Be taken in by Carmonica at the 22-yard line. Now it's just a matter of trying to stop Carmonica. They will do so. They'll bring it back to
Carmonica returning the
the
ball
Fitchburg 45-yard line.
Back to the 45. Tackled by Aiden Baez, Fitchburg.
Put it at the
Number
46,
21.
so Carmonica on the ground will just take it all back.
West Boylston now first and 10 from the 45.
So here comes West Boylston with 10:53 to go in the second quarter, up by 24 points with a nigh unstoppable offense, both figuratively and literally. But we're gonna have our first penalty of the game here.
Dead ball. False start offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Bob Bonsi is our referee tonight. Will indicate a false start against West Boylston. They'll bring the ball back to midfield.
The result of the penalty is the ball is now spotted at the 49-yard line. And it's first and 15, West Boylston.
Or at least back in West Boylston territory, I should say. First and 15. Muldoon moving in motion, but it'll be right up the middle, a fullback dive. And the Raiders have their first tackle of the night on an offensive play. Jamie McNamara able to get the ball to the 41-yard line of Fitchburg. McNamara is the leading returner in terms of offensive yards gained by the Lions last year. 1,084 yards on the ground and 18 touchdowns.
Ball is just shy of the 40-yard line.
Lions basically had 4 running backs at their disposal who could do damage, and only one of them graduated. Now another run up the middle. This is McNamara again. Up to the left side, hashes and numbers to the 25-yard line.
That's McNamara working his way down the field.
Another first down for West Boylston.
Jaden Jones on the tackle.
Place it right on the 25-yard line.
Ball spotted now at the 25.
McNamara's only carries before this drive were on the 2-point conversion attempts. Jamie McNamara, Carl Muldoon, John Ruiz, and Bobby Humphrey graduated last year. But as we've seen, Jackson Carmonica can step in just fine. And Luke Foley at quarterback with some poise. Take their time. Different quarterback, actually. Foley's not in there right now. But the pitch off will go to McNamara. Gets the numbers, now to the 15-yard line. On the pitch there from Connor Rice.
For the first down, they said first and 10. Ball now.
Stop the clock and move the chains yet again. West Boylston just has so many weapons at their disposal. Mentioned all of those names, all of those players who can do damage in getting the ball downfield. No wonder West Boylston was able to put up 33 points a game last year. Rice continues to stand as the quarterback in the double wing. See how aggressively West Boylston runs the ball. Goes to Muldoon, now going through the middle, trying to pinball, gets out of the grasp of Gonzalez, taken down by DeLeon inside the 10-yard line.
Rice took the ball on that play.
Muldoon bringing it ever closer to the Raiders' goal line. Ball at the 9-yard line. 8:13 to go in the second quarter. 30-6, West Boylston in front.
Brings up second and 4.
Really the first drive we've seen the Lions moving methodically. As they've been able to hit on all those big plays and all those big runs. Muldoon will be the motion man. He'll go out to the near side. From the near to the far, I should say. Now tries to reverse direction at the 5-yard line. But a whole bunch of red shirts will come in and take him to the ground.
Once again, met initially by Richard Solomon.
inside the 5, though, so that's good enough for another first down, and the chain crew can take a break. So they'll put the ball down around the 3.
It's going to be first and goal now. Spotted inside the 5.
Obviously the longest drive that West Boylston's had tonight in terms of time elapsed. Switch the formation up a little bit. Go to this extreme I formation, power I. 2 fullbacks and then a long tailback. It looks like Simpson is the tailback there. They'll sneak it up the middle. And gets enough for another touchdown. Jamie McNamara brings it across the line for 6.
That was McNamara.
Just a sea of players, and then with all the misdirection that the double wing and the power I can bring to you, sometimes you're not quite sure who actually got the ball in all of that. But McNamara was the one who will carry it in. Extra point is through off the foot of Tommy Kersonis. 37-6, West Boylston in front with 7:05 to go in the second. We can already see that West Boylston is taking the time to change up some of the personnel. We've mentioned some of those impact players for the black and blue. And already you can tell Mike Ross is probably thinking, all right, our offense, they've accomplished enough. They've put up some high numbers. You can see Mike Ross on the sidelines. We actually met him before the game, showed him the production truck. He was very impressed with what we had at our disposal. We thank him for his assistance.
Tommy Kersonis on the kickoff this time, number 12.
Kersonis moving in to kick it away. This ball will bounce at the 15-yard line. Bolak will take it once it's clear that it's not going to go out of bounds. Brings it past the 25-yard line. Then the clashing of bodies.
That was Bolak on the return.
Forward progress into the whistle. Goes to about the 28-yard line.
Red Raiders now, first and 10.
6:57 to go in the first half. A 31-point lead for West Boylston. The 28-yard line will be the line of scrimmage where this drive will start for the red and gray. If you're wondering around the mercy rule, there is no such thing in the first 24 minutes of play. Fullback dive on first down. Devani DeLeon trying to carry it up the middle, but met at the line immediately and gets Nariel yard.
Gain on the play brings up second and 10.
See Jake O'Brien getting in on the one. It looks like most of the first team defense is still in the game, but they definitely were changing out personnel on the offense. But for a lot of these players who play on both sides of the ball, this could be a definition of giving them a rest. Just have them play on the defensive side. Collins with the pitch to Bolak. Out to the near side, trying to get past the 30-yard line. Looks like
Bolak on the left side.
See Luke Foley getting in on that.
48,
Jake Arcand appears to have been the first to arrive for a gain of a couple.
Moves the ball out to the 30-yard line. Pick up of 2. Brings up second and 8.
It's 3rd and 8 now for the Red Raiders.
Third down, my apologies.
The box is stuck somewhere in between 2nd and 3rd down at Schrodinger's down, but officially 3rd. Raiders stay out of the I formation. They've been pretty keen to pass on 3rd down. They're going to have a go at passing. If Collins can find some time to throw, ultimately doesn't find the time to throw and just runs with it, he's going to get to the 35-yard line after the attempted shoestring tackle.
Not finding anybody open.
good number of yards gained by Collins. The case Collins gets to the 34-yard line, but the 38 was the line to gain.
Picked up about 4 on that play, brings up a 4th down and 4.
West Boylston only conceding as much as they absolutely needed to.
For the Red Raiders.
It'll be another punt from Allen Hall. The junior kicker. But we have whistles. Penalty before that. Bonsu's ready to give us the ball.
Ball start offense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Ball start against the Raiders. That's their first penalty of the night.
Ball stop moves the ball back to the 29-yard line.
Well, Bonsu was about to give the signal, and then someone handed him the ball. It's like, can't signal a false start when he's got a ball in his hands. Hall gets a solid one, takes a bounce a couple of yards past midfield. Now will settle down at the West Boylston 46-yard line.
So the ball now is down at the 46 on that punt.
Give Hall 25 yards on the punt.
So 1st and 10 now for West Boylston from the 46-yard line.
5:02 to go in the first half of play. And West Boylston downright dominating in this contest. 226 yards of offense on just 9 plays. We'll go back to the double wing on 1st down. And just look how strong this offensive line is. Look how strong the maul goes. McNamara will carry it past midfield.
In the middle of that pile. Good enough for a 1st down for West Boylston.
Knows the football at the 40-yard line.
To the 40-yard line.
14 yards. There's just run into the pile and let them do the work. And they're just moving downfield like a snowplow. 14 yards. 37-6 West Boylston in front, 4:20 to go in the first half. Carmonica will be taken down by the shoestrings there. Good tackle there by Melvin DeLeon.
Brought down from behind at number 53, Melvin DeLeon.
The captain
just a little over
halts
5 on
Carmonica for a gain of 5.
4, you can call it. Just inside the 35.
Lions will continue moving it along. Under 4 to go in the frame. Have to get to about the 30 for a 1st down. Luke Foley back in at quarterback. It's going to be 2 handoffs, and Ruiz will get his first carry of the night. Get down to the 25-yard line. Solomon will have the first to arrive. Credit for that. If you can see on this, it's 2 handoffs. It goes originally Carmonica, who then hands it off to John Ruiz. To the 25 and another fresh set of downs for West Boylston, their 8th of the night. 255 yards of offense, that's FF in hexadecimal. Try to get themselves into 3 digits in hex. On 1st and 10, long pitch out this time to Ruiz. Gets the near side flank. Gonna walk the tightrope now before he's pushed out of bounds, just short of the 15-yard line from my eyes, but it looks like he did get the 15, give him to the 14. And that is yet again good enough to move the chains.
The result of the play is a 1st down for West Boylston. Ball now just inside the 15-yard line.
West Boylston continues to move it along, just 7 yards away from 200 on the ground in the first half alone. With a lot of success, as you can see by the scoreboard. Ruiz will go in motion. There'll be a new Carrier this time taking it up the middle inside the 10-yard line. Give that to Michael Maldonado, the sophomore. He had a couple touches of the ball last year.
Down by 55.
Fitchburg's going to call a timeout here. With 2:25 to go in the first half of play, 31-point lead for West Boylston.
Just around the 6-yard line.
See on the replay, Maldonado just trying to bounce off a couple players. Eventually, a couple of red shirts he couldn't get past.
High school marching band.
Seeing that Sango Mate Nagabe, sophomore lineman, getting in on that tackle.
Celebrating 50 years of hip hop coming up at halftime.
Six yards from goal or West Boylston. Looking to continue to stretch out this lead. Second down and 2 to go for the Lions. Up by 31 points, the defending Division 7 champions. Made a statement with 51 points on Northbridge last week. Trying to continue to show that their offense is no joke. Carmonica ends up with the carry and all of that misdirection and finds his way through into the end zone. Touchdown, West Boylston.
Make the score 43-6 now with 2:19 left in the half.
And to think North Middlesex got 42 on the Red Raiders, it took less than a half for West Boylston to eclipse that number. 43 points and a half is a tremendous amount. But what's better is 44 points and a half.
Kersonis on the kick for West Boylston.
Tommy Kersonis will make it 44-6. Again, just West Boylston playing tremendous football in this contest. They've had the ball for just 7 minutes and 16 seconds. In fact, they had the ball for less than a minute, and they'd gotten 3 touchdowns. After all, they scored on their first 3 offensive touches. The Raiders had worked so hard to get their touchdown, and then West Boylston was just easily able to take it right back. And to think, Division 8 teams have to deal with this. Seems like quite the test. A short kick there from Kersonis. Raiders have no problem with that. Taking it at the 35 and brought past the 40-yard line by one of the up men. Give that one to Aiden Baez. Let's see, with changing up the personnel, and yet Baez just trying to jump on that one quickly, bring it back as far as he could, brings it to the 42-yard line.
Baez on that return. On the short kick, brings up a 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line.
A 7-yard return for Baez with 2:12 to go in the first half of play. Collins on first down will throw. Right side, that's going to be caught. Bolak taking that in, knocking a man to the ground, knocking the sticks to the ground on the far side. 11-yard gain for a first down.
24 knocking them out of bounds there for the Lions. Renzoni. That's a 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders.
It really does look like the pass offense has been more efficient for the Raiders tonight. Really, I would like to see Collins try to throw the ball a little more if he can. Yard gain, brings a fresh set of downs. See if the Raiders can get another one before halftime. Collins will throw on first down with protection. Nearly intercepted. Over the middle, Kaim Frimpong had his hands on it. He knows he probably should have had that.
Pass broken up by Kaim Frimpong.
His teammates won't mind too much. Knocked it down nonetheless. They were looking for Malachi Marion over the middle. Stops the clock with 87 ticks on the clock. 44-6. Raiders continuing to move out of the I formation. Collins already wrapped up. They won't wait to see him go to the floor. They'll give them the sack, give it to Jake O'Brien, who was first to arrive.
Caught in the backfield by 62, Jake O'Brien.
Try to protect him as best he can, but O'Brien was able to sneak in there.
With the ball at the 48-yard line.
Bring the ball back into Fitchburg territory. To the 48-yard line. More than a minute to go in the first half. 44-6. West Boylston in front. I don't know what the record is for most points in a half. I suspect it's more than 44. But it's a great first half for West Boylston. Long ball downfield into double coverage. In the end, nobody's going to come away with it. As Jackson Harmonica and Connor Rice were there with the coverage looking for Marion on the near side. .1 to go in the first half. Looked like Rice had the best route on that one.
Raiders will kick here. Ball back.
But whistles. Definitely saw movement on the line.
Dead ball. Ball start offense. 5 yards, still fourth down.
The teams have been relatively disciplined. That's only the third penalty we've seen in this contest. All of them have been false starts. Brings the ball back to the 43. Oh, the chance to unleash another boot. It's a line drive. Wibbles and wobbles.
Down at the 31-yard line.
To the 31-yard line it'll go. About 22 seconds left in the first half. And West Boylston 69 yards from goal. Would expect for West Boylston probably just take a run, see what it gets you, and then say good half everybody. That's what I will expect. Run out of that power eye again. A fullback dive. See what the Boylston line can do. It's going to be Maldonado with the carry, who will get it to the 35-yard line.
And that's going to bring us to halftime, ladies and gentlemen, with our score 44-6.
Indeed, good half, everybody. West Boylston happy with that. 44-6. West Boylston in front at the half.
Getting ready for their first competition of the season, which will be October 14th. And they'll be looking to earn their 9th consecutive gold medal.
From the very beginning, you could tell West Boylston, with all that experience that they bring back, the honor of having gone to Gillette last year, winning a state title, and bringing back 20 starters. That experience shined through and then some. It only took the run back on the opening kickoff to show West Boylston is here, and they're not here to mess around. They got all the points they needed on that kickoff return and two-point conversion to lead going into the half, but they continue to find success after success after success. Their first 3 offensive plays finding the end zone. The kickoff they received found the end zone. And they had 30 points before you knew it. We'll have more first half stats when we can take a little bit of time to comprehend how dominant West Boylston was. But for Fitchburg, as we saw, they were doing pretty well with throwing the ball once they were getting a little more comfortable. Zacchaeus Collins is starting to look a little more poised, got some passes off. They were able to protect him for long enough to get a few throws off. Can't forget that completion to Richard Solomon for 57 yards that ultimately set up the touchdown that Fitchburg got on the throw to Chris Herrera. But we're going to take a break here at historic Crocker Field. Let you listen to the band performance. Halftime here. It's Fitchburg 6, West Boylston 44. This is Red Raider football on FATV.
Thank the FHS band for their performance of Notorious B&D. And as mentioned, they'll be in competition on October 14th
we're back here at historic Crocker Field here in Fitchburg. It's Red Raider football on FATV, and as you can see by the score line, it's not gone well for the home side. West Boylston with a decisive first half of play, 44-6 as we go into the second half of play. Daniel Bolak here with you, John Gugerty on assignment. Have a look at the first half numbers. 10 first downs for West Boylston. They carried the ball 15 times for 212 yards and 16 plays overall for 285 yards. The story of it is just how dominant West Boylston was on their first few touches of the football. They started with the ball on the return, and they brought it back for a touchdown from Connor Muldoon. After a 3-and-out, Jackson Carmonica took a handoff and brought it down field 52 yards for a touchdown. And then on the next touch, it was Muldoon again, a touchdown from midfield. And then a pass to Muldoon from Luke Foley. And the numbers just went spiraling out of control after that. Luke Bolak on the return will bring it back to the 26-yard line. It's Luke Foley who makes the tackle. Quarterback on quarterback violence on the kickoff, even though Bolak is the tailback tonight. Those players have those pedigrees. Taken at the 13 after the kickoff, and Bolak just trying to get some space, but Foley's fancied himself as good, as a solid gunner and solid corner as well on defense. So the Raiders will have the ball to start the second half of play. They start from their own 27-yard line. First down. Go up the middle. You can see Devani DeLeon on the dive. The West Boylston line fighting back. DeLeon able to match his number of yards. Gets 5 on that.
32.
Have a closer look at it. One tackler joined by 3 or 4. To the 32-yard line. Second down and 5. Bolak this time. Found a hole on the left side. Got to about the 34-yard line. Aiden Hamilton, the first to arrive to wrap up Bolak and take him to the ground.
That's going to make 3rd and 2 with the ball just shy of the 35-yard line.
Knows the football on the 35. So I'll give him a gain of 3. 3rd and a manageable 2 for the Red Raiders, looking to get to the 37 for a first. Under center, the freshman Zacchaeus Collins. Call his own number, try to get it up the middle.
That was Collins.
From where he is, he's got enough for the first down. The officiating crew agree. Zacchaeus Collins will take the ball to the 38 for a first.
For the Red Raiders. Hamilton on that tackle once again, number 80.
Two minutes gone in the third quarter of play. Raiders trailing by 38. Lead has to get to 42 in the third quarter for mercy to be declared. So we're under normal rules. Bolak bouncing off 2-3 tacklers, but one of them would not let go. That was Brian Smith, the team leader in tackles from last year, getting in on it again. And preventing Bolak from gaining anything on first down. See if the middle, he's trying to get around a couple, but you can see Smith had already gone to the ground, but he kept his grasp on Bolak's legs. And able to take him to the grass. 2nd and 10. Quick throw to the near side. Solomon's got the catch. There are 2 Lions to meet him, and here comes 2-3 more. 5 to take him down at the 40-yard line.
Tackle made by
Jake Arcan and John Ruiz were the first two waiting for him. Actually, looks like Harmonica was there to wait for him along with Ruiz. It's a gain of just 2, though. Collins has been solid on his passing. He's 6 for 9 for 98 yards and a touchdown. DeLeon takes it, tries to go to the right side and decked from behind. I think that was McNamara who had the tackle there. You don't expect the tackle to come in from that direction. As McNamara had already blown through the line and doubled back. And able to get him from behind for stop DeLeon at 3.
And we have 4th down coming up. Hall's back to kick.
Warriors now 3 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. Hall drops it, rolling. He's probably going to have to do something with it, and he's not going to be able to do much with it. Looks like Arcan and McNamara were the two who came up with the tackle.
And McNamara and Cody making the tackle for West Boylston.
Back to the 23-yard line. It's going to be a short field for West Boylston as they try to put this one out of reach.
10 at the 23.
$7:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 for West Boylston. Ready to put it out of reach. Handoff on 1st down. It's the first carry of the day for Paul Linkarski, the sophomore. Takes it off the snap from Gersonis. On 1st down, ball goes to the 24-yard line. Actually a loss of a yard for the Lions. Carry on 2nd down, going to the left side. Maldonado was the ball carrier.
Maldonado the carrier on the play. No gain on the play, 3rd and 10.
No gain will bring it to 3rd and 10. And joining me on the broadcast now is the athletic director of Fitchburg Public Schools, Todd Robbins. How are you doing tonight?
Dan, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming up. I wish we could have had you on under better circumstances.
You know, it's the beginning of a rebuilding process, and sometimes it just takes time to get the right pieces together. We've got a tremendous coaching staff. They are going to continue to work with these student athletes, and I know, although the first couple of weeks have been difficult, I am quite certain that by the end of the year we're going to see market improvement.
Indeed, and as you can see on that one, just turned into rugby really quickly.
Red Raiders in on the tackle.
I'm sure you've been talking about it, but this West Boylston squad, I mean,
Brings up 4th
returned
and 10.
most of a Super Bowl championship last year. A team that really took a phenomenal St. Bernard's team to the mat last year in a Super Bowl here in Massachusetts. And they are incredibly well coached, and they run this double wing offense to the best of its ability. Very, very impressive team.
Indeed, and you can see just that display of power and how their personnel have been able to just go downfield at will. They've got some of the reserves in there right now. You can see Kersonis, Tommy Kersonis, the sophomore, will pitch it out. And it just comes down to the lines there. Another rugby ball formed. Gain of a few yards on this one to the 20. But this was 4th down, so it's going to be a turnover down after the pitch out to Pauline Karski.
And that's a credit to the defense for not giving up. And that is the one thing that we've seen over the first couple of weeks here with these student athletes. And it's a tribute to the coaching staff and their belief in the system, in that they're not giving up, despite what the situation is, despite what the score is. They really do believe in one another, and they will play from start to finish, regardless of how difficult the situation is. And that, I mean, is any form of a metaphor for life you can possibly find, that would be it. Is you never give up. You just keep coming forward, and they continue to do that, which is all the credit to them and their coaches.
Indeed. Fitchburg will have the ball with 5:23 to go in the 3rd quarter of play. 44-6, West Boylston in front. Now, one thing that has looked promising is that Case Collins, the freshman, has looked very comfortable in throwing the ball, already 6 for 9 in this contest for nearly 100 yards.
And having seen him at camp, Dan, he is the prototypical quarterback. He's just young. You just look at the build and you can sort of extrapolate out what I believe he can be. And with the right coaching and the right development, I think we've got the potential for a really great building block for this program going forward.
And almost like one of those passing the torch off, there's a pass from Zacchaeus Collins to Luke Bolak for 6 yards.
And an opportunity for Bolak, really, with Collins in the game, to play what really should be his traditional spot. He is built like a tailback, or perhaps even a wide receiver. He's got that tall, lanky build. It certainly would support opportunities, and it gives Coach DiGeronimo a weapon that he can shift around and force defenses to account for.
2nd down, about 4 to go. They carry out to the far side this time. Looks like it'll be good enough for a 1st down as well. Devani DeLeon with the carry there. Gets the quick handoff on the fullback dive, found some room on the right side, and you can see one of those prolific tacklers there in Brian Smith, team leader and tackles from last season, returning for West Boylston. Yet another tackle to his account, but Fitchburg will happily take the 1st down.
Good things happen when you just keep moving forward, and that's what we're seeing right now with the red and gray.
First and 10 for the Raiders. DeLeon getting the handoff this time, going to the near side, gets it to about the 34-yard line. Give him a couple on that one. We're a little behind right now. The botched punt from a drive ago threw my stats program into a tizzy.
Busier than a one-arm paper hanger is Dan Bolak up here in the press box.
Trying to back things up. Try to get the handoff to Eli Gonzalez this time. He's able to pick up the loose ball, but will fall backwards for a loss of several yards back to the 28-yard line. Not to plan on his first touch of the night.
Not an ideal circumstance to say the least. But what a tremendous night. Great credit to the crowd here. It's the 2nd straight week, in a tough situation for the red and gray. We've had a dedicated crowd that has been here, a dedicated student section that has stayed from start to finish. And that is another one of those things that just says the building blocks are here. I said it throughout my interview process before accepting the job as athletic director. I firmly believe here in Fitchburg, the right ingredients are here. It just needs a catalyst in order to get things moving. And you know what? Seeing a crowd like this, it could be the catalyst that gets things moving.
Indeed, Collins going to throw, trying to throw over the middle, was looking for Bolak. He's sent to the turf, and a flag will fly. We've had a very disciplined game. 3 false starts are all the penalties we've had in this contest, but this one's going to be a little different.
No question about it. Got there just a shade too early to Bolak's shoulder and sent him flying before the ball was there.
Bob Bonsi, our referee, will check with his crew, but I think we all have an idea what this penalty is going to be.
Used to be my favorite nights on the broadcast when we get Bob Bonsi on the PA, be able to bring us the combination signals as well as the call from the field. And hey, that's a credit to FATV. One of the unique things we have here at Crocker Field that other facilities don't, and in 2023 we should, is this right here.
Defensive pass interference, 15 yards. First down.
Moves on to the penalty as a first down.
Leaves no question about what is going on, especially since Massachusetts a handful of years ago converted from playing the NCAA rulebook in football to playing the Federation rulebook, to have the officials be able to explain the modifications and adjustments that are a little different than people are used to seeing on Saturdays and Sundays. That's a first-class operation to get here at Crocker Field, and it's thanks to our great media partners in FATV.
We're happy to be able to do that. We just don't see it so much at the high school level, but it really helps to enhance the broadcast. Shea Gagne gets the carry to the 45-yard line.
So it's 2nd and 9 now for the Red Raiders.
Shea is a dedicated student athlete. It's been fascinating to watch him from the start of camp really lead this team with the heart. Always the one trying to run out at the front of the drills, sort of set the pace. Been very impressed in what I've seen in this leader.
2nd down, 9 to go, minute 30 to go in the first half of play. Another dive up the middle from DeLeon will get to midfield. Solid carry of 6 yards for Devani DeLeon, gets him to midfield.
It's 3rd and 3 now.
You can see that's one of the things that the Raiders have had to work on so much in this contest, is just trying to bounce off of all of those defenders. So many different players for West Boylston. It's like trying to navigate, I guess, a pinball machine, the way going off all those bumpers, if you will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the last thing you want to do is end up on tilt.
It's a manageable 3rd down situation. They go for the dive on 3rd down, but it's read well. I believe the first to wrap him up there was Dominic Renzoni. Probably all in on that, as well as David Egan the third. Just West Boylston had this one diagnosed, and yeah, give that one to Egan, and Renzoni with the first to arrive on the reinforcements. Stopped the momentum there, backed him back up to the 49. Not seen the Raiders go for it yet on 4th down, and we know with the rules as it is that we're going to go into the running clock, as the Raiders are not going to be able to cut the deficit under 30.
Sure.
Down by 38, so math tells you that's not going to happen. The Raiders will take the whistle for 3/4 time, 44-6. West Boylston remains in front, no scoring in the 3rd stanza of 12 minutes, but mercy is declared, and we'll have a running clock in the 4th quarter of play.
Indeed we will. That's the probably one of the many rule changes that I certainly would like to see, is at least some minor modifications to the way this is enforced in the state of Massachusetts. Something I was advocating for on many broadcasts. I understand the purpose of the rule. The way it's enforced here in Massachusetts, I think, is a challenge, where the clock doesn't stop during timeouts and things of that nature. Concerns me greatly in the grand scheme of things, especially if you happen to be the team who is up 44-6 and you've got 3 timeouts as West Boylston does, and you never know. Some nights they'll use them, some nights they won't. And you could make an argument one way or another as to whether you should use those.
Bob Bonsi announces to the crowd that mercy is declared, and that's how it's going to go. Only injuries, I believe, is what stops the clock.
Yep, and not always that, depending on how the officiating crew decides to enforce the rule. And that's one of those things that I think over time we can certainly look to work at and make a few minor tweaks to. Other states that have had this rule book for longer, Alabama, Texas, some of those bigger football states, they've got some slightly modified statewide rules that tweak this rule a little bit that I think could make it that much better. One of the many things I'll have the ability to advocate for, hopefully, down in Franklin.
Get you a voice in the room. And
timeout before the running clock starts is a good situation.
Yep. So while we have a moment first, I want to let's take a moment to thank our underwriters here on FATV.
Fitchburg Access Television's remote productions for the 2023 sports season are brought to you in part by Boylston Bank and Trust, Acme Carpet One, Leominster Credit Union, the Sentinel Enterprise, and Minuteman Press.
It's a team effort here at FATV, and we got Ann Bisbee involved, our operations manager.
Who has a phenomenal voice and totally tries to hide it, but absolutely has a phenomenal voice and did a phenomenal job delivering those phenomenal sponsors and supporters that allow you folks to be able to serve the community that you do each and every time. If there is an event in this Fitchburg community that I have been out at, FATV's been there, and that speaks volumes to your support of the community.
I mentioned this in the first half of the game, but before the contest, when I was talking with Mike Ross, the head coach of West Boylston, we actually brought him over to the truck and had a look at it. He was very impressed by what he saw. So glad we could be gracious hosts here tonight as the Raiders will go for it for the first time tonight on 4th down. Go for the long pass to Bolak, but it goes right through his hands. It was put in a spot where only he could get to it, but it was just ever so slightly overthrown. And it's a turnover on downs.
1 or 2 steps more, just a slight bit off in timing, but you could see that connecting, Dan. That may not have worked tonight. It may not work next week, but I'll tell you that is not far off. And just look at the natural skill set that you're seeing. And Bolak, like I said, maybe just a shade off. Maybe that defender chipped him just a little bit at the line, threw that play off just a little bit. But you can see the possibilities that are there. It's just a matter for good things to happen.
On 1st down for West Boylston, roll to the near side, and a great run there on 1st down, and still going past the 30-yard line. Freshman Tommy Wyatt with the carry for big distance. And one other thing that comes to mind is next week, Fitchburg is going to be playing Shepherd Hill, and as we saw last year and as we've seen years before, I know they've got a new head coach, but the historical philosophy at Shepherd Hill is to run the double wing, much like what West Boylston does. So this could be a good tune-up for the Red and Gray.
It definitely could be. We're down on the sideline having that very conversation about Shepherd Hill. They are by no means the originator of it, but I feel like in the last decade in Central Mass, Shepherd Hill has been the program that has really shown off what that offense can do. Dave Palazzi at Leominster was, affectionately always called it crisscross applesauce, right? Everyone's going here, there, and everywhere, and as a defense, it's your job to stay home and try to spot the ball wherever that may be. And tonight, certainly in that first half, there was a struggle with that. But like you said, you go to school on this going into next week, and having sort of the double wing portion of your schedule back to back, that can be very helpful for the Red and Gray.
And after that, they'll be playing Auburn. Jeff Cormier, a longtime coach down at Auburn for the Rockets.
Sure.
And that's a matchup I don't think we've seen too many times, Fitchburg and Auburn. Much like this is a matchup we haven't seen too much in Fitchburg and West Boylston, and this is the first time. Wyatt there. There's looked like a bit of challenges with the exchange there, and Wyatt not really able to get much on 2nd down.
And Dan, to your point, it speaks an awful lot about sort of the different philosophy of scheduling that you're going to see more and more and more as the years go by. Now that the postseason format has changed, and there's a lot more of a mathematical equation that's a part of it. As you're working with your coaching staffs and the ADs and the other parts of this region, it's about finding the right combination of pieces to put together to create a really exciting schedule, and a schedule that's going to best prepare you for the postseason. And I think you're going to start seeing more and more and more of that, where you start seeing non-traditional matchups that become a part of teams' annual schedules.
More trouble with the snap. And Fitchburg is claiming the football, and they do in fact have the football. We had mentioned Dominic Streeter, wearing number 84, has been the quarterback for West Boylston on this last drive, and he had a little bit of trouble with it. Looks like Cassiano Pedraza was able to come up with her. At least he's the one who's featured right there.
Indeed.
I'll give him credit for it.
Dan, I also want to point out in this picture we're seeing on screen, one of our great young coaches there, Vinny Archipreti, who's been a phenomenal addition to Coach DiGeronimo's coaching staff. Not only in the work that he's doing with our student athletes on the field, but with his ability to organize things administratively off the field in support of this program. I can't tell you as a new athletic director how phenomenal it is to have that kind of a coach and that kind of an organizational presence within one of your programs. I can't thank him enough for the effort he's made to get this season started for the Red and Gray.
Had a great conversation with him before the contest today. And yes, I can see that passion bubbling through there. And the Raiders are going to be in good hands coaching-wise. It's going to take some time, but the experience will come and the development will come.
Indeed. It's a really great sort of combination of 3 experienced veteran coaches with 3 younger coaches who aspire to that. And so it sort of leads to this mentoring program within the guys who are responsible for mentoring the program. And I think that's a really great dynamic that Coach DiGeronimo has set up within his coaching staff and is going to set us up for longer term success in the years ahead.
So Raiders going to have the ball with 7 minutes and counting to go in the contest, trailing 44-6. But it's not really about the score right now. It's just about getting the experience.
And about winning the small battles, right? You try to win an increment of time. Maybe it's half of this quarter. Maybe it's the whole quarter. Those little things, right? It's the game within the game right now. Maybe on the scoreboard you're not able to charge all the way back. There's a lot of factors that are working against you, not the least of which is the 44-6 score. But the little factors, you try to win the time intervals, gives you something to build on going into next week.
So the first play from scrimmage on this one, Jamar Petrie with the carry, but Steven Simpson had that read very well. The junior wearing number 1, getting Petrie in a hug and pushing him back, ending his forward progress. That's a loss of several yards, but again, it's all about right now just looking at it maybe one drive at a time. You try to win this drive. You just try to do a little better on each play. Fullback dive this time and a good run up the middle. Lionel Jean-Lays has the carry for the Red Raiders and a very solid carry. Gets it well past the original marker and makes it a manageable 3rd down. To about the 33-yard line. Past the halfway point in this 4th quarter of play. And 3rd down coming. Another fullback dive. Give it back to Jean-Lays. Trying to get to that stick for the 1st down. I think he's going to be about a yard short. He gets it past the 35-yard line. Or is he a yard short? The officiating crew is satisfied with it. We'll give the 1st down. While I have a moment as well, I want to ask you a bit about the potential for Fenway Park on Thanksgiving Eve.
Congratulations, Dan. You made it almost a full quarter without asking me that question. From the time I arrived in the 3rd till now, I appreciate that. Look, it's a tremendous opportunity. Folks didn't have the opportunity, obviously, to see the presentation from the school committee meeting this past Monday. Certainly, please check it out on FATV. Does a great job of positioning all of the factors that have gone into the decision-making process to that point, and then obviously all of the different support pieces that are going to go into this as well. And the great commitment that our administration has made, led by our interim superintendent, John Thompson, saying to me right off the bat, when we started discussing this possibility, that basically he will make sure that we will find a way for anybody that wants to go. That means transporting them, we'll transport them. That means tickets, we'll get them tickets. We're going to find a way for every member of this community who wants to have the opportunity to be a part of this event, should it move forward. And that in and of itself is an exciting proposition, to begin with. And we've got a lot of exciting pieces, that we can talk about, once things go a certain direction, but we are, we're certainly waiting for that, final set of approvals to come in, the dominoes and pieces to exist, and obviously a final decision to be rendered. But I've got to tell you, having spent 25 years covering this rivalry in one way, shape, or form, it is an opportunity to enhance something in a series that, remember, dates back to 1894. You take a series from 1894, you put it in a building that was built and opened in 1912. I think good things historically are going to happen. And I said very clearly, and I do firmly believe it, that it will be a celebratory red and gray ride home, should that opportunity come our way. So I'm certainly excited about it. I'm definitely a proponent of it. I don't see it as necessarily, being a tradition, hindrance or a hiccup. I think, quite frankly, it is just another way to celebrate an exciting tradition that we have in this community.
Yep. And we also want to make it clear that if that game does go forward, FATV will be broadcasting that game as well.
Yep, I can say that is one of the things that I saw, obviously, as a teacher in Watertown last year. Watertown and Belmont moved their 100th game to Fenway Park when they had the opportunity offered to them, and the folks at Fenway Sports Group do make it possible for both involved communities to have their own live broadcast facility, their own broadcast booths, their own camera positions. They did a phenomenal job of welcoming communities into Fenway Park. So having just that little peek, I know that there are things to support, not just the student athletes that are going to compete out on the field, but there are things to support the community members that are there and the community members that aren't ultimately able to make it there as well.
There will be the accessibility. If you can make it out there, we'll be happy to have you out there, and if you can't make it out there, we'll be happy to bring you the coverage. Again, that's not etched in stone quite just yet. We're thinking maybe next week we might be hearing the confirmation.
That is the hope that pieces will come together for a final decision. But obviously, it's at this point it is still just in the planning and concept stage. But it is an exciting concept, and it just speaks to this rivalry and the rich history of it. That Fenway Park would be pursuing this rivalry for a third time and attempting to host it in its legendary ballpark.
Roll out to the right side on first down. Paul Linkarski, the sophomore, gets out to the far flank. Gets a very nice run on first down for the Lions. Give them another first down. So they'll bring it down to about the 17.
I have to tell you, Dan, what I have really enjoyed as we've gone through this process is the passion that I have seen in the community, to see that excitement and that vigor. And I can't wait to see that excitement and that vigor at whatever venue we are in, not just this year, but in the years ahead on Thanksgiving, to come here, support the red and gray. The excitement, the possibilities, to get people here. You bring that enthusiasm, good things can happen for this program and for this community. And I feel fortunate as can be to be here in this role as athletic director. I can't tell you how tickled I am to have this opportunity.
As someone who's had so many years of experience and knows these communities so well, you're just a great fit for that role.
I appreciate you saying so.
It's good to see that you're having fun in that
absolutely.
role as well.
No, it is. Every day is exciting. Every day is a challenge. And every day I learn something new. And that is the exciting part of being in education and working with, most importantly, these tremendous student athletes you see out on the field, the student athletes that are in all of our programs. And you know what? Not only do we want to see out here at Crocker Field, but come on out to the field house. We've got some phenomenal games going on there, some exciting competitions throughout the year. Come on up to Game On, field hockey, soccer up there. There's just lots of ways you can support the red and gray. And we would love to host and welcome people out at all of our events throughout the year.
And as you were talking about earlier, West Boylston called a timeout in the final minute to make sure they wouldn't have to run another play. And ultimately, no scoring in the second half. But West Boylston did all the damage they needed in the first 24 minutes, and they take a decisive 44-6 victory to show why they are the favorites in Division 8 this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I might actually consider them a favorite in a few other divisions if they were fortunate enough to play in those as well. A strong program led by a great coaching staff, and certainly they deserve all the accolades they have received. They demonstrated it here in Fitchburg tonight.
Yep.
Dan, before I let you go, I just want to thank you all again. The great work you and John Gugerty are doing week in and week out to bring these broadcasts to our community, backstopped by, of course, the great executive director of FATV, Nate Glenny, and the great volunteer staff that you all have that are out here each and every week, bringing folks the games like the mail, right? Rain, snow, sleet, or dead of night. You guys are out there bringing these games to the community for those that aren't fortunate enough to be able to be here each and every week. And I know we, not only in Fitchburg Athletics, but Fitchburg Public Schools and the broader community, are blessed to have FATV as a part of our community.
And we're always happy to be here for you. And funny note, too, with nearly 40 years of broadcast experience between us, it's the first time we've actually ended up on the same broadcast. We've called the same game together before on different sides, but this is the first time I think we've ever had a conversation on the air before of an actual broadcast.
Yeah, no, it's been my pleasure to be here. I joked downstairs, they asked me if I was going to be calling games throughout the year, and I said, I really am trying to quit. I really am trying to quit cold turkey on this, but the opportunity presented itself, and here I am, as the case may be. So I feel very fortunate. Thank Nate Glenny Danny and you for extending the invitation to be here. And I will be more than happy to relinquish this headset back to John Gugarty in the weeks ahead.
Yep, you're always welcome up here, Todd.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And again, we wish you continued good luck in your role here as Athletic Director of Fitchburg Public Schools. Todd Robbins, thank you for joining us.
Dan, thank you so much.
So, once again, thanks to Todd Robbins for all of that. 44-6 West Boylston, a winner tonight. 329 yards of offense on just 25 offensive plays for the Lions compared to 136 yards of offense for Fitchburg from 48 yards. The passing looked pretty solid from Zacchaeus Collins, 7 for 12 for 104 yards, had a touchdown, finding the sophomore and Chris Rivera in the end zone. Also that 57-yard catch and run to Richard Solomon. Looks like there's some promise there in the passing game. The rushing game struggled a little bit tonight, 36 carries for 32 yards, all's told, with the leading runner being Devani DeLeon, 11 carries for 30 yards on the night. But you look at West Boylston, they were running the ball with regularity. Jackson Carmonica ended up being the lead carrier in terms of yards. He had 63 on 3 carries and 2 touchdowns. And Connor Muldoon, that 73-yard catch. That seems a little high. I think that one actually got crossed up a little bit, but nonetheless, West Boylston had a dominant and decisive game tonight. And one of the interesting observations, we mentioned West Boylston is a Division 8. The first time that they play a Division 8 game this season, and this is going to sound a bit presumptuous, will be the first round of the playoffs because they don't have a Division 8 team on their schedule this season. They have Assabet, Division 6 next week, Blue Hills Division 7 the week after, then Clinton in Division 7, Tingsboro and Lunenburg as well in Division 7, and Blackstone Valley Tech up to Division 5 this year from 6 to close out the regular season, and even on Thanksgiving, Division 6 Maynard. Meanwhile, Fitchburg, a 4-game road trip awaits them. They'll be taking on the Rams of Shepherd Hill. As we talked about, they're also a team that runs a double wing formation, much like West Boylston as you saw here. So that's going to be at least a little helpful for the Red Raiders. They have an idea what to expect. And then Auburn coming up after that, a solid Division 5 team. Jeff Cormier's team will be ready for them as well on the 29th. Interesting note for Auburn, their first week game, with all the weather that we had last week, Auburn and Swampscott played to a 15-15 tie because they got to the end of regulation, and that's when the Lightning came in. First tie in Central Mass in 20 years. They were supposed to have legislated that out of the game, Then Marlboro and Westboro will come after that. Marlboro is going to be a solid contender in Division 4. Westboro, a bit of a rebuilding process for them as well. That could be an interesting game before they're back here at historic Crocker Field on October the 20th, taking on Neshoba, a nice Central Mass rivalry there. Last year when those two teams met, it was a very close game. It was also the first time I saw the Raiders move and work with the running back, the formation of having Luke Bolak as the running back. And interesting results there. The Raiders nearly stole that one away. Or they finish off the season against Doherty on the 27th, who Leominster just happens to be playing tonight. Might be able to take a look at that result and get an idea what the Highlanders have bringing to the table. They had a strong Week 1 win against Algonquin. That's the schedule. And then, of course, Leominster. Right now I have it penciled in as Thursday the 23rd. Could be Wednesday the 22nd at Fenway Park. Again, news will come in confirmation or denial or whatever the decision will be. We will find out in the next week. And we tell you wherever that game's going to be, whether it be at Crocker or Fenway, we'll have it here on FATV. Our next broadcast of high school football, well, actually, is of course going to be on the 20th of October against Neshoba. But our next broadcast of football here on FATV will be coming on the 30th of September, as Fitchburg State will be back in action after a couple-week road trip. They'll have back-to-back games against Bridgewater and Framingham. That's the 30th against Bridgewater and the 6th against Framingham, or I could have those backwards, but I'm trying to remember that one from memory. But nonetheless, we'll be seeing the Raiders again in some due time. We'll be seeing the Falcons again a little sooner. But we'll see what Paul DiGeronimo's got up his sleeve for trying to prepare his team over the coming weeks. And we'll see what they've got and we'll be able to bring to the table come Week 7 when the Wolves are back in town. But until then, we're going to wrap it up here from historic Crocker Field. Final score for the final time. It's the Fitchburg Red Raiders 6 and the West Boylston Lions 44. For our wonderful staff here at FATV. Keith DePerry directing tonight, his directorial debut on sports broadcast here for FATV. Nate Glennie and Seth Rigby on camera, Todd Govan on replay, and Travis Falk, the engineer, in charge. I'm Daniel Bolak saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. And until then, so long from Fitchburg.